lately, so I feel like
Sure.
I'm pretty caught up with what Chris
Yeah,
is up to.
yeah.
So the one thing I noticed is that you're surfing. So talk to me about surfing in Boston.
It's funny because you can actually even like I'm usually driving like 90 minutes south to Rhode Island or about an hour north to New Hampshire, but you can technically surf in Boston, like I mean in Lynn, which is like just outside of the city. But yeah, I've been like 16 times so far since January 1st this year.
Wow.
And it's been, I mean, it's definitely not always good, and sometimes sometimes it's bad in a way that it's just flat and there are no waves. Sometimes it's bad in a way that it's just like way too aggressive and punchy because it's like there's a storm happening or something. But I've tried to get out, I mean, as much as possible. And needless to say, when I was unemployed, I went out in the fall, like literally like 40 times or something like that, which was so sick. But yeah, I just started surfing last summer when I was out riding with Deafheaven near Los Angeles, like Burbank area. Because Kerry, the guitarist, is like a full time. That's like what he does. He surfs all the time. And one day I was just like, yeah, man, I'd love to try it. Let's go. Well, okay. The first time I went was in Australia, and I was like, this is fucking crazy. I should not be out here right now. Like I was like getting knocked off the board, and I was at the time a terrible swimmer, getting knocked off the board, getting like held under a little bit by the waves, and I'm like trying to, and then the board's getting farther away, and at one point like I got pushed under a little bit, and then there's just like rocks below, and I'm like, dude, I gotta get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah,
like, and I just like
the reefs.
So I almost don't even count that experience because it was just so like, but it was like we were there, we had the day off. Kerry was renting a surfboard. I'm like, I will absolutely try this, you know, not really knowing what I was getting into and not really thinking about how bad of a swimmer I at least was at the time. But yeah, it's been awesome, man. And like, I was surprised because I honestly thought it was like kind of laughable to even think about surfing in New England. What even is that, you know? And like in the summer, it kind of is because it flattens out a lot. But because like, I mean, Boston is tough because there's a bunch of harbor islands, so there just aren't any waves. You basically have to go out around those islands, which takes
they break up all the surf.
Totally. So like in Southie, it looks like a pond. Like there's nothing, you know.